Even if I was, no law again.
Kingdom Come Deliverance 2's DLC Legacy of the Forge, where you are a blacksmith, also lets you be a dentist by punching someone's tooth out. Okay, so I played about 30 minutes of Kingdom Come 2's DLC Legacy of the Forge, and I got a few takeaways. One, if you are not into blacksmithing, that's okay. I was told you don't actually need the blacksmith all that much. Instead, you just manage a forge. Number two, that's right, you can punch a dude's tooth out. I guess because you're a blacksmith, that means you're seen as a dentist in some cases. So I'm looking forward to whatever that turns into. And number three, this is about a 15 to 20 hour DLC. And you betcha it is more Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. But now it's almost like a management sim because you're running a business. In the 30 minutes of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 Legacy of the Forge, I was able to see surprisingly a lot in a small period of time because the main push for this is you betcha you're playing as Henry, but in this case you are trying to regale the legacy of your father, who was a blacksmith. And by doing so, you are going to be actually managing and operating a forge. And what that looks like is you get to design basically what that forge looks like. You have to hire people, you have to deal with inventory and having people sell them. And of course, if you want, you can smith stuff yourself, but you don't actually need to. Now, obviously, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 has very involved systems when it comes to just doing about anything, and blacksmithing is no joke. Now, the developer did acknowledge that this could be a potential turnoff for certain players because, in the base game, doing blacksmithing was basically entirely optional. So what do you do when you build an entire DLC around it? Thankfully, he said you're only required to do it twice. Otherwise, you could just, make other people do it. There's still a bunch of other blacksmiths and forges around town anyways. It's like owning a bar but drinking at other bars. Maybe. This game also introduces a new kind of currency. So in the first Kingdom Come Deliverance DLC, the first game where the DLC happened, when you finish the game and players had an obscene amount of money, they could basically use that money to buy and build a house in the first game. And the developers learned a lesson when approaching this DLC, because in many cases, if you had played that game exhaustively and you got a bunch of money, the DLC kind of fell flat. And in this case, instead, they're counteracting that by creating a new currency by way of prestige. So yes, you may have a bunch of money and you may be able to build up how pretty your house and business looks in this, but now you actually have to convince people to want to come to your forge. And that is done by prestige. So prestige comes when you do a good job. If you do a good job, forging something or helping someone out, you gain prestige, which then raises the attention of your forge and people coming to your forge and spending money and all that jazz. And there was many side quests I could have done. In fact, one of them I failed. This dude asked me to make a dagger, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be like my old pops. He was a swordsman, and I botched that. I completely screwed the sword up, just chose not to do it. However, I found a woman who was like, hey, you're a blacksmith. I need help with my husband who's got a tooth that needs to be pulled. Can you pull it out? I agreed to do it, and that involved a chase scene of chasing the husband around town, which ended in a fist fight. And while, after he beat the crap out of this guy, he's all bloody and has black eyes, and he's like, oh my God, you knocked my tooth out. Thank you so much. I really owe you. And then you both walk away battered and bloodied. And when I went back to the wife to confirm it, she was like, you're the best blacksmith in town. I want to tell everybody that you can remove their teeth. And I had the choice to tell them to be like, don't do that. Or I could say, all right, yeah, tell everybody I'll remove their teeth, but I only do it with my fists. So I really hope that leads to people coming to your business as it means when you knock their teeth out, just beat the crap out of them. But in doing so, my prestige went up, and that was sick. Now, I know I said I saw a lot in 30 minutes, but it was more so the foundation that I saw, and I already kind of started to see glimpses of how this thing could keep going and ballooning into something else. But the other big part of it is that there is a new main quest that will be tied to this. it's not just about running a forge, but instead, like, it's kind of like the projection for Henry to be doing this is to help rebuild a clock tower, I think it was, in the town. So the entire thing is kind of you building a forge, building your prestige, getting your reputation up, and building your skills up to be able to repair this clock tower. And all while it's happening, like, I don't know, it's Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, so there's like, I don't know, a little rambunctious romping around that's happening. I saw a trailer that was really quite funny. Anyways, it looked like the foundation was there to really add a lot to this sort of world, a lot to this character, and the developer that I spoke to said, like, this DLC is really pushing the sort of sim element of the RPG to really feel like this is your town, this is where you work, this is like the community that you support. And that is a really interesting concept, especially because like Kingdom Come Deliverance, knowing that game and how much friction and how in depth it is, there's something really cool about the idea of like finding a home in a town and just sticking to it and trying to support the community, or messing up swords like I did. I really do feel like it kind of took me off guard. I'm kind of really excited about it, and it really did remind me how far games have come since Pac-Man. Hey, thanks. Knocked my tooth out.